Hey everyone, and welcome to the Sandbox. January 2021 has already come to an end, and my oh my, what a month it has been. I try really hard to avoid politics on this lighthearted channel, so I'm going to keep doing that. January was a rather slow month as I was only able to come out with 2 videos. However, they were relatively big ones. We came out with the first book review for the channel, which in case you missed it and you want to see it, I'll put the link in the description below and a link somewhere up here. I'm aiming to do 1 review per month as well as some more book-related content, but I can assure you I will continue with the trailer edits, the comedy sketches, and the ranking videos, which leads me to my second video that I put out in January, an updated Pixar ranking. These ones always take a lot out of me because I actually go through and rewatch every single film, and I think we're at 23 now, which is the same as the MCU, oddly enough. So yeah, it's only going to get harder from here on out. So far, the video is doing well. I don't know what it is about Pixar, but they have some of the most loyal and passionate fans. And because of that, I have some more Pixar-related videos planned for the next few months, one of which I'm putting a lot of time and effort into. So be on the lookout for that sometime in March. So with those little highlights for the channel out of the way, I want to spend some time wrapping up the month of January, talking about books that I read and what I plan to read in February. I plan on doing these monthly wrap-ups at the end of every month so that we can discuss literature and to give anybody who wants to the chance to read along with me for the upcoming month. So the first book that I read in January was a short little fantasy mystery novel called Something from the Night Side. It's a short little book, and I read it in one weekend on a road trip with my girlfriend, who is the same person that recommended me this series, and I quite enjoyed it. It's definitely filled with some great world building and some neat little twists. It's fun and fast-paced action adventure filled with magic and oddities. And I could see this series getting only better and better as it progresses. I won't go into any details, but if you want to know how I'd rate it, I would probably rate it as a 6.5 out of 10. It's very similar and reminiscent to the Dresden Files, which I think I have a few of them up there. And compared to Stormfront, the first book in that series, I gave that one a 7 out of 10. I think Something from the Night Side landed more impactful emotional scenes when it wanted to, but the characters and the character progression just felt very unnatural, especially compared to Harry Dresden. I enjoyed both endings to these books, but for completely different reasons. Stormfront wrapped up every story element and every character arc fantastically and left you wanting more. While the mystery element was very, very obvious and just not really rewarding, everything else was completely satisfying. Everything was wrapped up fantastically, and the things that weren't were heavily teased, signaling that they will be addressed in books to come. Something from the Night Side, however, I saw none of it coming, which I'm still not sure if that's a good or bad thing. Some of these things were just impossible to guess. They're just completely outlandish, and the author's just kind of like, wow, well, that's the Night Side for you. It's like a box of chocolates. And it's just not really that rewarding at the end of the day. But in the end, I found both first entries to the series very enjoyable to read. They're fun, they're fast-paced, and they do a great job at setting up their respective series. However, I did enjoy Stormfront a little bit more, which is why I chose to continue on with that series first, which leads me to the second book I read in January, Full Moon, which I thought was just called just Full Moon until like I was halfway through the book and realized, oh yeah, Full Moon. Yeah, fitting. And Full Moon felt like a huge step up from Stormfront. I liked that one, but I loved this one. I mean, I've heard each book is better than the last, but yeah, I mean, prose, storytelling, the hero, and the threat, everything was elevated and just really thrilling to read. Werewolves are the scariest monsters for me, and I was kind of hoping to read some horror scenes in this, but it feels like Jim Butcher decided to hold back in that regard. But wow, Dresden takes such a hit in this book. I mean, he is constantly beaten and battered throughout it. I was halfway through and thinking, okay, this has got to be wrapping up, and like, but no, there's 200 pages left, and I mean, it just keeps going and going. Butcher is just relentless here, and yet somehow he finds a way to have the ending be hopeful and and earned. It feels earned to see the little guy come back and win in the end. I mean, that's not really a spoiler. We all know he's going to win. There's like 30 books of this series, okay? Calm down. But yeah, the endings feel really earned, which is great because you leave the book, you leave the experience with a smile on your face and wanting more, ready to pick up the next one. One thing I love about these books is a really odd detail, but he does these potions in each book. So far, each one has had 2 potions. Stormfront had an escape potion and a love potion, and Full Moon had a blending in potion. It wasn't invisibility, it was like a blending potion and an energy potion. And I just love it. It's such a great way to build your world. This one definitely elevated the magic. We got some more information on how the magic works a little bit, but not enough to consider it a rewarding investment so far. But I mean, we're only 2 books in, and the potions are keeping me going. They're interesting, they're fun, and I just love Jim Butcher's creativity here. But let's move on to the 3rd and final book I read in January, The Hobbit. So around Christmas time, I was just really in the mood to read some old school fantasy. Usually around Christmas, I'll pick up a Harry Potter book or 2 and just read those. But I don't know, Lord of the Rings was really calling to me this time. And I've decided that, hey, if I'm going to do it, let's do it right and start from the beginning. So I picked up The Hobbit around the last week of December and finished it with the rest in late January. I have seen all of the Middle-earth movies, and if you want to see my most recent ranking on the 6 films, I'll put a link somewhere up here in the description. But I actually haven't read the books yet, so I was really excited to finally diving into these classic fantasies. I had heard before reading this one that it was quite different in tone, and it was more of a children's book, really. But I was still quite surprised. I did not know that basically everything in those 9-hour-plus movies actually happened in this 300-page book. I mean, save for Kili and Toriel's romance and Azog the Defiler, the whole story's skeleton is in this book. Now, personally, for my taste, I was reading this more as a novel and precursor to The Lord of the Rings, so I would have to give this a 6.5 at most. But if you're reading this as a children's book, I mean, it is very charming and magical. I would say this is probably a 7.0 or a 7.5 out of 10, depending on your taste. And I personally can't wait to someday read this to my children and hear their thoughts on it. So that's what I read in January, and what I plan to read in February is none other than The Lord of the Rings. Though this book did come out in 3 volumes over the course of a year, Tolkien initially intended for it to be a single novel. However, I do know that there is some debate to this, so let me know down in the comments below if you see it more as a trilogy or just one massive story. I'll tally up your votes in the end and use that to help me decide if I should do 3 reviews for the 3 volumes or just do one massive review for the story on a whole. This is a big goal for me in the smallest month of the year, so I might not finish it until even the end of March, in which case I will move up my Game of Thrones book review to March. But on the off chance that I do just fly through this book, it's February 2nd today, I'm already 80 pages through, so it's possible, but I do have a Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes geared up on my Audible account, and I plan on reading that while I drive for the next couple of months or so. But that's it from me. Let me know if you enjoyed the video by hitting the like button below, and if you like the idea of more book-related content, and let me know if you don't. This channel is still very small, and you have a big say in what I talk about here. So let me know what you'd like to see me cover. But that's it for now. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I'll see you all next time.